you have to set up all kinds of ens legis, legal entities, to operate in their world. So you set up a state, you set up a trust, we're setting up our bank, and there are other entities that we set up, and they sign with the name because they're fictions. They're our fictions, they're no longer their fictions.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking your public employee that has the Social Security number out of the public, and now he's working for you as an individual banker for your private so-and-so, your name, bank, estate, and trust. So now he's your private banker. He's not a public employee. He's a private employee now when you get your EIN numbers. Does that make sense?
What you need to do, because there's a lot of material here that we're covering, and even though the actual some of the documents are no longer active, the ideas still are. So when you look at the welcome letter, it talks about looking at the recent directory.
Mm-hmm.
And the recent directory is number 36, Federal Reserve Banking. You really should go through all those documents backwards.
Okay.
So that'll give you the most recent ideas, and then you'll see how they get filled in, or what they got modified from.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding that what you said is that we're taking the fiction name and we're making it become our private employee. Is that correct?
The way Patrick has expressed it before, they all work for the Tom Jones Company, and we only employ people called Tom Jones.
That's good. I like that. Okay, but we don't have ownership. We just have control of the name. Is that correct?
The estoppel by deed is stopping them from using our assets.
Oh, I see. Okay, Tom, you said to set up the private side before having the fiction employees come on board to be working for us.
Well, so you have to get their EINs, the employment identification numbers.
Mm-hmm.
For the estate, for the foreign grantor trust, and for the private individual banker. Okay, so shall we go through the private U.S. estate vehicle self-insured liability?
Yeah, the title of the document is called Proof of Private U.S. or United States Estate Vehicle - Self-Insured Liability, exempt from state driver codes, commercial regulations, and regulator controls. Okay, for me, I wouldn't want to use a word that traverses me back into commercial regulations. Okay. Issued by Patrick Devine, ens legis, CFO number. That's the Chief Financial Officer. That's what the letter CFO means. And there's a blank space with a number, # next to it. For the Patrick Devine Private Bank E&T.
Right, and you know what goes after the number sign.
Yeah, that's your individual banker EIN number.
Right.
And then the U.S. of A Treasury obligation, care of Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Credit source on the right side, Credit and Risk Management Division, 7th floor, Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, 10 Independence Mall. I imagine that's a credit source, but we should have, like he said, to set it up with that Appendix 3, Chapter 17, or was it Appendix 3 on Chapter 17?
I'm pretty sure that will be part of it.
Yeah. We have to study that, but in order to get in the front door with them, we have to know the banking circular instruction letter number 10 or something.
Well, operating circular 10.
Yeah,
but if you take a look at this, we're not withdrawing any credit. So this may not be going through because he has it directed to the U.S. Treasury. That's where the certified mail should go.
Right.
Okay? And what
Right.
we're doing with this is we're issuing our own letter of credit.
Yeah.
So
We know where it's parked, so he's mentioning where it's parked at. You're like describing
Right.
what box or drawer it's at.
yeah, Jacob, go get the money from here.
Yeah. Irrevocable private insured liability hyphen non-commercial driver. See, I wouldn't use the word driver either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discuss it with him.
Yeah.
It should be traveler.
Yeah. Letter of credit, colon, a private U.S. estate bank note number on deposit for $2,500,000.
All right, $2.5 million.
So I don't know where you're going to get a number to put in there, but
You make one up. It's your own numbering system.
and then give it to him and give it to the Federal Reserve Bank.
He's sending this to the Treasury.
Okay. Okay, so you put your own number in there on deposit. Expiration date, duration of private U.S. estate vehicle ownership. That's, I would say, automobile. But anyhow, jurisdiction notice to Iowa DMV and all other DMV departments and all state commercial courts.
Right.
This irrevocable letter of credit, blah, blah, number that you make up yourself,
Right.
is issued Patrick Devine, private U.S. estate. Then you put your estate EIN number there, which
Right.
is probably a 46 number. Employees and property as of liability coverage not to exceed $2,500,000. It is a liability.
Security.
It says that it's not spelled correctly. Is that spelling correct?
No, it should be LIA.
Yeah, that's what it needs. LIA. There we go. That's repaired. It is a liability, security for the benefit of any party who may suffer damages or harm resulting from the direct negligence on behalf of the capital letter person, Patrick Devine, private bank and estate, individual or authorized operator. So,
now, why would Patrick
because you're operating in commerce, and you have to have a way to interface with their commercial operation. Because corporations can only talk to other fictions.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But that's your EIN number. You do have, and that's your private Devine bank, individual estate and trust. So on behalf of that's who's talking to you. All other commercial ends legacies. You know,
Okay.
that's an interface name.
Mhm.
Description of private U.S. estate vehicle covered. Year, make, model, vehicle ID number. So there he uses the VIN number. You have a year, a make, and a model. Like I said, I would know if I would use the word vehicle, but that's what he's using.
Are you even supposed to be using a VIN number when you're talking about a private vehicle? Because isn't a VIN number a statutory number?
Just the number that's on the chassis of the automobile or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It does identify it by the manufacturer.
Well, we will have, looking at this, we will have had to have turned our title in and redeemed it and get back full control of the vehicle.
We're sending our certificate in endorsed.
Right.
Or
That's that's a different document.
Yeah.
Duh.
So he has a 1997 Chevrolet K1500. I think it should be CK, but I may be mistaken. He has a new Ford Fusion car, and it says MSO on it.
Yes, he has the manufacturer statement of origin.
Yeah.
And the other one, he put an estoppel by deed against it.
Yeah. So we're sending this to the United States of America Treasury.
Right.
So we're sending it to the treasurer or the secretary of the Treasury, I imagine. But mostly just to the Treasury, not to any person specifically. Correct?
Well, if you read it, it says care of the Secretary of the United States Treasury.
Yeah, that's what I just said. So I was defining it. I said not to any person specifically.
Well, are we using the same address that's on the up above?
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's a description of the year, the manufacturer, and the model, and then the VIN number ID, and then it has in a box liability coverage limits upon validation of harm caused by operators, drivers, neglect.
Right.
Direct neglect, not driver, direct.
Right. And we don't need to go through each one of those categories.
The Patrick Devine Private Bank and Estate and Trust, that's you operating on the private side, that your chief financial officer is your employee that is running that whole bank, estate, and trust under your direction. So you're standing in the shadows and you're directing that guy and that whole bank. Will honor any validated liability draft upon this letter of credit and forward it to the Credit and Risk Management Division of the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia for the release and settlement of the deposited credits to the insured or harmed party within 30 days of the draft delivery. The liability drafts hereunder must be marked drawn under this irrevocable letter of credit, and then you put a number there. Do you have any suggestions, though, like what kind of numbers you want to have on there, Tom?
Well, Patrick has his, on his previous documents, he
goes like
his
001,
initials,
maybe 001.
Well, he basically has his initials. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
He has, generally, I've seen it, he has his own initials, / and then a couple of letters describing the document type. And then we may have something intermediary as a category, and then the transaction number.
Okay. So you just make it up yourself, right?
Yeah, go look at his examples or make up your own.
Yeah. Because we're private bankers and we have to learn how to bank stuff. And so a document like this is a proof of insurance or a liability letter of credit.
Okay.
So you'd want some kind of a note on it, letter, just like Federal Reserve notes have letters and numbers on them.
Right. Let's finish the document here.
Okay. Okay, so the letter of credit number, which is like what you did at the above, and it must be accompanied by a written statement from the insured or harmed party
Injured.
Patrick Devine bank, estate, and trust individual employee or authorized operator was directly negligent in the harming event, the statement is also to be signed and notarized by an authorized official.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, because they're kind of like swearing to the claim.
Right, right.
It is the condition of this letter of credit that it shall be in full effect as long as one or both of the vehicles are held as the state bank property, either by MSO title or CFO estoppel by deed title. Any liability drafts drawn under and in compliance with the above terms and conditions of this irrevocable letter of credit will be duly honored. Liability drafts upon the letter of credit shall be submitted to the Patrick Devine Private Bank, Estate and Trust, and then he has his address
And phone number,
executed, has a date, signed, signature, bank official, print name and title. So you would put, Chief Financial Officer or something like that underneath there where it says name and title. You would say, what the Chief Financial Officer's name is, most likely in capital letters. And then he signs it, Patrick Devine Ens Legis, individual banker, CFO number, blah, blah, blah.
Right, that'd be the EIN.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So the name that he has underneath printed name and title is an Ens Legis, and the title, I don't know why it's said there twice, because if you did it above where it says printed name and title and then you have it underneath, that's just an example, I guess.
Right.
Tom, what did you say ens legis meant again?
Legal entity, legal being.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Signifying that it's a live person?
No, the exact opposite.
Okay.
It's a
Legal.
fictional creation.
But it could have upper and lower case letters. It could be anything, but when you put Ens Legis under there, it's not you, the man or the woman.
Okay, so it is the fiction then.
All right.
Yeah.
It's one
Okay,
of Tom Jones. It's one of the Tom Joneses.
Okay. And they're representing us.
No, they work for us.
They work for us. Okay.
And I think that it might be smart to have a power of attorney there, but we may not have to have it since we already have an EIN number for that chief financial officer.
No, remember he has to file a Form 56F
Oh, okay.
to have the authority over the account.
Right.
Okay, does that give you an idea how to go about this on your own and then get into discussion with it?
Mm-hmm. The Form 56F you said has to be filed before we can do this?
That's part of completing the package with the EINs and getting yourself set up as a banker.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you have to have
Okay.
the banker stay. You have to be set up as a banker before you can do this form.
Got it.
Okay? So there's a lot of material in there. It all works together.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to
Okay, so Tom, are you saying that when we do the filing of the 3 EINs, that's what establishes us as our own private banker then?
So that
Yep.
shifts it to the private sector.
When you file the estate, you're basically declaring your Social Security person dead.
Deceased,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then when you do the
Deceased
form,
anyhow, you're just making sure he's dead and he doesn't pop up again.
and then when you do the foreign grantor trust, you have set up a place to house all the assets the government has stolen. And then the private individual banker is hiring this fired, dead Social Security person as your own CFO.
Okay, so are we taking ourselves completely out of the Social Security system then?
No.
We're interfacing it. We get the rights to use it.
Oh, I see.
And the
Okay.
estoppel says you can no longer use it. We use it.
Got it.
We're
So
the real owner.
You have to read the estoppel by deed.
See, the owner is actually today, like right now, until you do an estoppel by deed, he's lost at sea. So you're saying he came back home, he's on the land, and he can grab the reins and steer his own affairs.
Okay?
He's not lost at sea anymore.
Okay.
Not presumed dead. You're saying I'm the living, I'm coming forward, kind of like an inter vivos trust, but you're doing it on the private side.
Okay?
Got it. Now, do you know of anybody who's actually used this form and was able to get out from underneath a lien against them on their vehicle?
We're in the process of
Work
doing
in
it.
progress. It's all new technology, and we're all trying to do it. But Patrick has given them stuff, and they sent him a letter that he doesn't have to provide proof of financial responsibility any longer. So he has succeeded.
Okay, so what did he need the proof of financial responsibility for?
He didn't. Well, they expect you to have it, but until you let them know that you're a private banker and you have access to your own funds, they decided that they don't require his financial proof of responsibility any longer.
You need to listen to Patrick on some of the
Gotta
calls.
listen to the calls.
Okay. All right, I'll go back and listen to those.
Okay?
Very good.